The struggle that I face is that, let's say there's a stock, 2 lakh rupees invested, got 60% returns. There is a lot of resistance to put more money into it. Let's say you put another 2 lakhs. What you see your P&L on that particular stock drops. And then what happens? I tell you.
Warren Buffett sells 85% of what he buys within 2 years. He sells 50% of what he buys within 6 months. Coming to when to sell a stock, actually there's a simple thing which people can do. Suppose you buy something at 100 rupees.
Sure.
Don't say I will sell if it is 200. Because that's the way you will not get the multi-bagger. अगर आप बेच ही दोगे तो फिर multi-bagger कहाँ मिलेगा?
I'm going to watch this episode a couple of times myself and keep reminding myself the mistakes that I keep making. Today's guest comes with more than 30 plus years of global stock market experience. She got listed in Most Powerful Women by Fortune India. A gold medalist from IIM Ahmedabad, none other than Devina Mehra. In this episode, we unpack multi-bagger stocks. When to sell a stock? When to accumulate a stock more if you need to, global investing, asset allocation, gold, and much more. And I guarantee that if you watch this episode fully, you're going to hit the subscribe button because you won't get this content anywhere else. With that, let's get this cracking. Enjoy this. Devina ji, thank you so much for giving me your time. It's a privilege to talk to you. And the intent of this conversation is really try and break the myths that are there about multi-bagger stocks, because a lot of people are chasing multi-baggers, and that too blindly. And I don't say that there are not opportunities in stocks. Of course, there are opportunities, but it's always to look out for the risks more than the opportunities. That's what I personally believe. So in this session, I just want to get your honest views, and I want to start from very, very basic question. How do you define a multi-bagger stock in your view? I know there are definitions like 2x, 5x, 100x, whatnot. How do you define multi-bagger stock?
Actually, I'm not even really looking for that definition because I'm not chasing multi-bagger. But I suppose you can say that something that goes up at least 5-7 times over a period of time.
Ji.
Just a doubler is not a multi-bagger.
Right, of course. Yeah. And what is the time duration? Because time duration is also equally important.
Yes.
If a stock that has gone twice or 3x, 4x in 10 years versus 3 years makes a huge difference.
No, I mean, if it is twice in 10 years, then you haven't
FD is better.
Yes, FD is better. So,
Yeah.
so as I said, at least 5-7 times within a reasonable period of time. And if you're talking 20 years, then it should be a lot more than 5-7 times.
Sure. And in your investment journey, I think you've been investing for 30 years now, maybe
Yes,
more than that.
Yes.
Have you either accidentally or by choice got any multi-bagger stocks in your portfolio or for your PMS? Can you give us some stories if there are any, please?
Yeah, so PMS, of course, is relatively recent, about 5 years. Before that, I started off on what is called the sell side, being a stockbroker and investment banker. So yes, there have been multi-baggers, but the point I want all your people watching, all your viewers to know is that multi-baggers are seen only in hindsight.
Right.
No one has a visibility when they recommend a stock or they buy a stock that this is going to be a multi-bagger. At the most, you can say that it would double or triple. उससे आगे की visibility किसी की नहीं होती है. तो वो I can say now in hindsight that yes, I found those multi-baggers, but it is not as if that I knew upfront that they would do so well. I mean, the two biggest examples which people associate with me and with First Global are HDFC Bank in India, 1996, 1 year after the IPO, we had done a report which people still remember. So it had a baby on the cover saying this is where it is. And it had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was the reigning Mr. Universe, the bodybuilder, and said this is where it will be.
Right.
So, yes, you made a call on the business and all that, but I can't say, I mean, Aditya Puri also could not have said that this is going to be the trajectory. The other one which people remember is Amazon.
Right.
So, Amazon in 2001, after the tech crash, so every single firm on Wall Street had a sell on it.
Right.
And we had not just a buy, we had a strong buy. And that was at $15 price of Amazon, which split adjusted is 0.75 dollars, so 75 cents. So again, Jeff Bezos might have wanted to become the richest person or thereabouts, but it's no way he also would know what would happen in 20 years. So all the success stories you see, even internationally, Tesla ho, Apple ho, Amazon ho, all of them have had very checkered histories. All these three companies that I named have come close to bankruptcy multiple times. So ये किसी के पास जादू की छड़ी नहीं होती, कोई क्रिस्टल बॉल नहीं होती who can say that this is going to be a multi-bagger. If such a thing existed, at least in the whole history of the world, there would be one investor, one fund manager who is, let alone 100%, even 50% of the picks were multi-baggers.
Right.
And there's no such person or fund that exists in the world.
Right.
I mean, people think Warren Buffett does a lot of research and then he buys. I mean, he sells 85% of what he buys within 2 years. He sells 50% of what he buys within 6 months. So those are some of the things I've mentioned in my book, that all the myths you believe may not be true.
Right.
So anyone who's telling you they have this magic wand कि multi-bagger मालूम है, एक तो सी basic चीज अगर आप investing के देखें तो it is a game of luck and skill.
Right.
So it is about the future, and future is only about probabilities. It is not about certainties.
Right.
So I often say that after having lived through 2020, if you still do not realize that the future is uncertain, and it is not just that people did not foresee COVID. If I had told you that there's going to be something which disrupts a world to this extent, and businesses also, hotels went to zero, aviation went to zero, auto sales went to zero, whole lot of other things, retail went to almost nothing. So if I told you कि ऐसा कुछ होगा जिससे ये सब हो जाएगा, तो would you have said that there would be a bull run in 2020?
Of course not. I think when we're talking about astrology, not stock market.
So that's why I'm saying don't overestimate your skill कि हाँ मुझे तो सब आता है और I will find things which no one else has.
This is a very good context you've set up, Devina ji, that nobody is able to predict multi-baggers for future. But however, I just want to go back to your Amazon point that you said in 2001 when everybody said sell and you said buy. Surely there was a conviction that you carried about that stock and you did not listen to that noise.
Right.
So what brings you or what builds the conviction in a stock that could potentially become multi-bagger or not? That's, we don't know the future.
See, in theory, I would say don't go for conviction, because what is conviction? Conviction is your belief in a story or a narrative.
Sure.
So once you say I have high conviction, you get married to that stock. So don't do that. But as far as Amazon is concerned, the case was very simple. I'm very cash flow driven. So most people just focus on the income statement कि profit की क्या growth हुई, margin में क्या हुआ, sales growth कितनी थी, उसके आगे आप लोग देखते नहीं हो. The point is you have to go beyond the P&L account, and cash flow is one of the most important things you should look at. So Amazon, what I saw was that in the last quarter of year 2000, for the first time, they made substantial free cash flow.
Right.
So I forget 220 or $240 million का उनका free cash flow था. And we spoke to the company and we said that, we don't want forward-looking statement, but ये बता दीजिए हमारा calculation तो गलत नहीं है ना, इतना cash flow आया है ना. So he said yes. So he said then, for the first time, this company is not in the danger of going bankrupt. Whereas everybody is now, all the Wall Street में उससे पहले people were very bullish on Amazon.
Right.
And even the person who was the most bullish, there was this famous analyst called Mary Meeker. She did a report on Amazon saying, throwing in the towel on Amazon. Ki, I have also given up on Amazon.
Right.
So I don't know what they were looking at, because we were looking at only numbers.
Right.
HDFC Bank was little different. Because HDFC Bank, yes, there was a business case to be made, because usse pehle, the mid-90s tak, almost all the share was with PSU banks. So you say, okay, one professional, well-run bank comes, there were several that were coming, then they will have an advantage. Also remember, HDFC Bank at that time was not a retail bank, it was a corporate bank. And I had been a corporate banker in my Citibank days. So I knew it's very difficult to get into good company consortiums. Their HDFC Bank had a special advantage compared to all the other new banks that were coming in, which was the HDFC brand name.
Right.
And that did get them entry into good corporations. That was one additional advantage they had. So this was what was known from the outside. I always say that Amazon was a pure numbers call. This was a plus call, because HDFC Bank had a lot of people from Citibank. Aditya Puri was from Citibank, as were a lot of the people who were working with him. And I knew them. So, I was also making a call on the management. Because... See, banking generally, I am a very, people say कि आपका तकिया कलाम है, ma'am, I'm a nervous investor in banks and lenders.
How come?
So it's very simple. In banking, you will get only negative surprises by and large. Positive surprises का scope बहुत कम होता है banking में, because see look at what the banking model is. कि आपने किसी को पैसा, suppose you are a company, I am a bank, I am lending you money. Suppose you do very very well. तो मुझे कोई एक्सेस नहीं मिलने वाला है, मुझे वही मिलेगा प्रिंसिपल प्लस इंटरेस्ट. इनफैक्ट इफ यू डू वेरी वेल यू विल से इंटरेस्ट आधा % कम कर दो. सो व्हाट डू आई पार्टिसिपेट इन? ओनली योर डाउन साइड, नेवर योर अप साइड. वेरी अनलाइक इक्विटी. सो देयरफॉर एंड sitting outside you don't know the book of the bank, you don't know कहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम आने वाली है. इसीलिए बैंक्स में सडनली आता है ना कि अरे ट्रेडिंग बुक में ये प्रॉब्लम निकल आई, क्रेडिट में ये प्रॉब्लम निकल आई. वो आपको बाहर बैठे मालूम ही नहीं चल सकता.
right.
Because you don't know what that bank is doing. So ultimately HDFC Bank was also my bet on their risk management. As it happened, their risk head was my last boss in Citibank. So I knew he was conservative. So that was also part of, so as I said, it was a plus call. It was not just a pure hands-off call. And people think कि देखिए HDFC Bank और कोटक में जिसने लिया वो तो multi-baggers रहे, इतना पैसा बना. But this is the problem with looking at multi-baggers. It is something called survivorship bias, कि आपको खाली successes याद रहते हैं. तो उस समय कितने बैंक्स को लाइसेंस मिला था और उनका क्या हुआ, मतलब कितने बैंक्स तो डूब ही गए. ग्लोबल ट्रस्ट बैंक, टाइम्स बैंक, येस बैंक का इतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हुआ, सेंटूरियन बैंक, सो मेनी PSU banks had to be amalgamated with other banks because they were in trouble. I mean, people say कि okay, so and so didn't get best. I said वो तो the regulator will never allow a bank to be publicly known as going bust. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं वो merger करा देते हैं, but that bank is usually in trouble. That's why you are getting that merger done. Right. So there's so many counter examples, but आपको वही याद रहता है.
We remember the success.
We forget the. Yeah. Exactly.
I also want to check with you, Devina ji, one question which is around selling a stock. So buying is one thing, right? I think another dilemma that I personally feel, and I'm sure many of the viewers also will face, is that let's say there's a stock A. It's gone up by 80% and it's given you handsome returns. And there is always that itch, you know what, let's just get out of this. And of course you will do all your analysis, but there is the human emotions that take over, right? The numbers and the quants. So how do you decide if a stock would continue to go up from here, or should you just exit? Because you know what, it's almost fulfilled your personal goal. You set out for 60%. It's gone up to, let's say, 70-80%. Jolly good days.
So मैंने एक चैप्टर इस पे लिखा है, how when to sell a stock. मैंने इस पे वीडियो भी बनाया. But most of the chapters in my book, I have a QR code at the end where if you scan the QR code, it will take you to a very short video, normally 2 to 4 minutes.
Oh, that's very good.
तो मुझे कई लोगों ने बोला कि ये चैप्टर का रिवीजन हो जाता है. So when to sell a stock.
Just to sorry interrupt you. I'll actually give this link of the book if you don't mind.
Of course,
in the description.
Please do.
And people can just check it out if they want to, because this is quite interesting that the stories that you're telling me now, all of that I'm sure would somehow get reflected in the book, right?
Right, and a lot more, because there are like 40 chapters, and I'm a very avid reader. So as a reader, I don't like books जहाँ मतलब थोड़े से ideas को आपने stretch कर दिया एक book length में. So I was very clear कि I want like lots of stuff in it. So when up there there are like 42 different things that I have talked about, and I tried not to also मतलब against a lot of pressure from the publisher because they want even length chapters. I said no. I mean, something can be explained in 1,000 words, something will take 3,000 words. Sure. So I don't want to fluff up my book. So, but coming to when to sell a stock, actually there's a simple thing which people can do, because as you said, the instinct is the reverse of what it should be, that you want to book profits on your profit makers and you just hold on to your loss makers.
I know, exactly.
So it's a very simple discipline. So what you do is, suppose you buy something at 100 rupees. Sure. Don't say I will sell if it is 200, because that's the way you will not get the multi-baggers. अगर आप बेच ही दोगे तो फिर multi-bagger कहाँ मिलेगा?
Right.
So but always have a stop loss, but it is a trailing stop loss. So we use a more complicated method, but suppose you have a 25% stop loss. तो ऐसा नहीं कि आपने 100 पे खरीदा तो वो 75 पे वो stop loss हमेशा के लिए हो गया.
Right.
So you let it run. So वो 100 से 150 हुआ, 140 हुआ, फिर 180 हुआ, फिर 200 हुआ, 200 होके 180 हुआ, आप रखे रहो. 250 हो गया, 300 हो गया, you keep it, 400 हो गया, बीच में मतलब आगे पीछे होते हैं 400 हो गया. But जब 400 से अगर 300 हो जाता है, so it is now 25% down from the top.
Right.
Then you sell.
Okay.
So the only other reason to sell would be that sometimes one stock becomes an outside part of your portfolio, so you might want to book some profits and trim it. कि मतलब एक ही stock ये नहीं कि मेरा portfolio का 50% एक ही stock में है.
Of course.
So those are the only two reasons really to sell. मतलब if you want a simple formula.
Right.
But ये सब आप पहले से लगा के रखो, ये नहीं कि जब गिरेगा तब सोचेंगे, because then your mind will play tricks with you.
Right.
कि you know this time it is different, this stock is different, एक महीना और देख लेते हैं. So you be strict on the stop losses. So for example, like in our PMS etc., we say human plus machine. So on the buying side, on top of the artificial intelligence machine learning system, we apply human filters. But we say on the risk management side, it is the machine, because
Right.
the human being hates to admit a mistake.
Right.
The human being will always resist admitting a mistake. So, and always in the market, remember, there is a lot more competition on the buy side and very little on the when to sell.
Right.
और आप फंड मैनेजर्स को भी इवैल्यूएट कर रहे हैं, सबके पास बड़ी बड़ी प्रेजेंटेशन होंगी ऑन हाउ दे बाय. Quiz them on risk management, quiz them on when they sell, and you will realize कि वो कितनी डेप्थ में सोचा है कि नहीं सोचा है
Right.
उन्होंने.
So you talked about two things then, two parameters. One is that if you see the price has dropped by X percentage, and you said 25%.
I'm just saying you should put a stop loss.
Right.
So I mean,
whatever
this,
whatever
got it.
that percentage could
Huh.
be. And if it doesn't drop to that level, then you continue to hold
Then
it.
you continue to
But of
hold.
course, you would also track the valuations, the fundamentals, would you not? Or you...
But sometimes, of course, you know, it is difficult to say कि यहाँ हो गया. I mean, I'll give
अच्छा.
you an example that in the 90s, at a time when most stocks, मतलब 20-25 टाइम के ऊपर P कम ही होता था. Also remember at that time interest rates were also higher, so naturally the P's were lower. ये IT services companies which were fairly new companies at that time, उनका 60, 70, 80 होने लगा तो लगा बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है. But you know that was not a right call, because you know, so sometimes you don't know where the valuations
right.
will go, and this is in spite of the fact that we had anticipated their growth, but still, you know, it was still difficult to wrap your hand around.
60 PE
because,
versus the rest all sectors.
because I remember we did a report in the 90s, I'm talking about, when all these companies had less than 10,000 employees each, and we did and the highest number of employees in a company in India was Tata Steel, Tisco as it was called then, with I think 65,000 employees. And I had done a report saying these companies will become the highest employers in India. And people said, are you crazy? मतलब Tisco को overtake करेंगे ये लोग, मतलब these are like tiny companies. And look what happened. So, I mean, we could anticipate that, but still I could not really wrap my head around the valuations there. So, you know, that also is difficult to say कि अब valuation ज़्यादा हो गया. Maybe, you know, sometimes it might be कि हाँ very crazy. I mean, one way I look at whether there is a froth in the sector, I said if you want an easy way to identify कि किस sector में अति हो गई, किस sector में froth है, look at where the NFOs are coming.
Right.
जिस theme में वो NFO आ रहा है, and this is data we've collated over 25-30 years. That almost invariably that cluster of NFOs जब आता है ना कि न्यू फंड ऑफरिंग आ रहा है जिस भी चीज में, वो डिफेंस हो, PSU हो, स्मॉल कैप, दिस आई एम टॉकिंग पीपल हु कम इन लेटली, आई मीन पीपल हु नो अर्लियर कि फार्मा फंड कब आए, IT फंड्स कब आए, तो यू विल सी सो इंफ्रा फंड, सो दे विल ऑल बी नियर द पीक ऑफ दैट साइकिल. ये मतलब ये प्लॉट करके देखा है.
Okay.
तो ये that this is how because and it is not as if the AMCs don't know this. It's not as if the AMCs don't realize कि you know this is too expensive, but they know they can gather assets at that value. So that's why
they know that there are investors wanting to inject the funds in it.
Actually वो होता ये है ना कि आपके दोस्त ने बना लिया डिफेंस में, अब आपको फोमो हो रहा है कि तो therefore जो NFO आएगा डिफेंस में उसमें आप बोलोगे मैं लगा दूं. This is what happens. So and you know this is.
So is it that? Sorry to interrupt you, Vinay, but is it that every thematic funds that come out in the market, they only come out when that theme has run up to?
When there is a cluster of NFOs in a theme,
right?
It is almost, that's what the data shows, that almost in every case they have been near the peak of that sector. And when the stocks fall, then the AMC CEO will say कि we had only given you a choice, it was your choice to buy it. So you know that's what, you know, उस समय तो हाथ झाड़ लेते हैं तो, but because AUM आ गया, fees आ गई, तो
Happy days.
हाँ, तो एक बार ट्विटर पे somebody wrote to me कि मैम you keep talking against thematic funds but there is this technology fund which was 2 rupees in 2003 and I think he had sent it in 2023 या 2024 कि देखिए 20 साल में कितनी कंपाउंडिंग दी है। मैंने कहा बहुत अच्छे। 2003 में 2 रुपया था ना, देखो उसका लॉन्च कब हुआ था। इट वॉज टाइम टू परफेक्शन दैट NFO क्लोज्ड एंड अ वीक लेटर वाज द ग्लोबल टेक क्रैश। मैंने कहा 2.5 साल में वो 10 का 2 हो गया, वो तुमने नहीं देखा। अब तुम मेरे को बता रहे हो कि 2 रुपए से कितनी कंपाउंडिंग हुई। तो पर्सन हु बॉट इन दी NFO saw 80% erosion in 2.5
And he would not have sustained it because looking at
nobody would
80% down, you'd panic.
Yeah,
Literally would panic.
Of course.
I also want to check with you. So you talked about when to sell the stock potentially. What about buying the stock or accumulating a stock more? So, again, for example, I invest 2 lakh rupees, right? Because I was not very sure in a particular stock. I buy it and luck is in my favor, goes up to 50%. Now I'm thinking, I only put 2 lakh rupees, it's going up. The story is very good and I want to buy more of it because 2 lakhs, even if it goes 3 times, 4 times, not good money for me.
Right.
I want to take it to, let's say, 10 lakhs. How do you then build gradual positions? Is there anything that you guys do to start slow, but then you build your positions based on something that you think still, the story will play out in the next few years? How do you decide to build more positions in a particular stock?
See, right now what we do is something different because as I said, we use a system. So we just look at that today, like we do this rebalance every quarter. So we'll be doing it soon. So that today, which are the best stocks to buy? So we forget about what we hold.
Okay.
So and just do that, and we buy a very diversified portfolio. So PMS में हम लोग का नाम ही है इंडिया सुपर 50. So हम लोग 50-55 स्टॉक तो होते ही हैं. In the small case, which is for the smaller investors, still we have 25-30 stocks because we think that's the minimum level of diversification you need. But as I said, see, but treat each purchase as a separate thing. That अगर मतलब भूल जाइए कि आपके पास क्या था, अब इस भाव पे ये खरीदने लायक है कि नहीं है.
Okay.
That's the question to ask. It is a difficult question to answer, and I will tell you why and why we look at this. That why we do what we call rebalance from base zero. कि आज हमारे पास कैश हो तो कहाँ पर हो, without looking at what we already hold. ये अलग बात है कि हर क्वार्टर में ऐसा नहीं कि वो पूरी लिस्ट बदल जाएगी. असल में तो 85-90% वही रहेगा जो पिछले क्वार्टर में था. बट द क्वेश्चन वी आस्क इज दिस, एंड दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ अनदर बायस विच इज वेरी डीप रूटेड विद इन अस, विच इज कॉल्ड एंडाउमेंट बायस, विच इज दैट वी विल वैल्यू समथिंग मोर हाईली सिंपली बिकॉज वी ओन इट. और ये अगेन हैज बीन टेस्टेड मेनी टाइम्स. सो वेरी सिंपल थिंग्स ऑल्सो, जैसे आपने यूनिवर्सिटी में आधी क्लास को एक मग दिया, आधी को नहीं दिया, कॉफी मग. अब आप एक हफ्ता बाद पूछोगे इस कॉफी मग का क्या भाव है, तो जिसके पास है वो बोलेगा 125 रुपए, जिसके पास नहीं है वो बोलेगा 75 रुपए. तो इवन विथ समथिंग एज सिंपल एज दैट, जस्ट बिकॉज यू ओन इट, यू स्टार्ट टू वैल्यू इट मोर. आई ऑलवेज से द ओनली रीजन अ होल्ड रेटिंग एग्जिस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड इज एंडाउमेंट बायस.
Right.
Because otherwise, theoretically, if you will not buy a stock at this price, why are you holding it?
Right. I think the struggle that I personally face is that, let's say there's a stock, as I was telling you, 2 lakh rupees invested, got 60% returns. Now there is a lot of resistance to put more money into it, mainly because let's say you put another 2 lakhs. What you see, your P&L on that particular stock drops. And then what happens? I tell you, this is very practical, right? And then what happens if, let's say, that stock corrects by another 10% for whatever volatility reason, and you see all of a sudden you're sitting at 60%, and then you come down to 15 to 20%.
Right.
And as a humans, we really can't take that because we thought we had a winner, right, in our pocket, and all of a sudden we see it's come down to 15%, and we would have, it would have been better to look for somewhere else. This is, I don't know whether this is more emotional because we can't really separate the previous episodes with a stock to the current. In fact, also there's another bias that I personally face a lot of time.
वो दोनों लाइन अलग अलग लिखना.
I don't know whether there is a feature like that. That would be better. But another bias or I don't know whether you buy a stock, you make good money out of it, you exit it. And I think you struggle to go back to that stock.
हाँ.
it's extremely hard to go back to that stock and make money again from that stock.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know. I have,
and दूसरी तरह भी होता है, मैं ये भी बोलूँ कि जैसे I have said कि you put a stop loss, but there will be times when you exit at the stop loss and then the price goes up, and the real discipline is that you might again buy it, maybe 10 rupees higher खरीदा दोबारा. But on the whole, a stop loss system will save you. It
Right.
will not save you in 100% of the time, but on the average, it will save you. And also, so what you're telling me, what I want to tell your viewers is कि numbers crunch करना आसान है. It is easy to learn how to analyze financials. What is difficult is managing your mind. अपने दिमाग पे काबू पाना सबसे मुश्किल काम है. नहीं मतलब this I am not like
No,
I am very serious. So इसीलिए मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ कि that my guru is not an investor. My guru is Daniel Kahneman, because he wrote about these things. कि that and these, he worked in this field of human biases for 70 years. He passed away last year. At age 90, he won a Nobel Prize for it. And he said, in spite of all this, I can say my decision making has barely changed, because these things are very hard coded within us. तो मैं आपको biases का अगर मतलब एक तो वो optical illusion से आप सोचो, optical illusion, you see those things ना कि these two things look different sizes, but if you measure it, they are the same size. So you understand it intellectually, but when you still look at that picture, they still seem two different sizes to you, because that's the way your brain is wired. So these things are come from very deep evolution. Why we have loss aversion, why 1 lakh of profit gives us less pleasure than the pain of 1 lakh of losses. So all these are coming from our like thousands of years ago. So just thinking about it doesn't change things. That's why systems work. The other thing is, एक तो ये systematic biases हो गए. दूसरा, human beings bring randomness. What is randomness? I have 10 analysts with similar experience. मैं सबको same file दूं कंपनी की, एक कंपनी की. Everyone will have a different view on that.
Right.
That is randomness. The same person, आपकी सुबह घर पे हस्बैंड से लड़ाई हो गई या रास्ते में किसी से लड़ाई हो गई, तो you look at the same data differently.
Right.
I mean, judges have so much variability. Everybody has variability. So that's why Daniel Kahneman says that even a relatively simplified system will outperform a human being.
Right.
So when you are even if you are, we may or may not come to that, but whether or not you should you should manage your investments yourself. Even if you're managing it yourself, have a system that these are my 5 ratios, 6 ratios. उसको जो मीट करेगा क्राइटेरिया, those are the companies I will look at. Because होता ये है कि you might think you are buying X type of stocks, but आप देखोगे अपना एक्चुअल पोर्टफोलियो तो आपको पता लगेगा कि you have bought something कि वो टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में किसी ने बोला था, फ्रेंड ने पार्टी में बताया, वो टीवी पे कोई बता रहा था, तो you bought some random hodgepodge of stocks. So you're not even keeping to your system, whatever is your system. So if you make some system, at least keep to those criteria.
Right.
तो अभी दिवाली आ रही है, तो मैं हमेशा ये कहती हूँ कि लक्ष्मी माँ की पूजा ही मत करिए, उसका सम्मान भी करिए. कि आप जो अपना मोबाइल फोन खरीदते हैं उसमें इतना रिसर्च होता है कि क्या फीचर है, नहीं है, ये है, वो है, एंड एवरी स्टॉक you add at random.
5 minutes में stock decision like this. Devana ji, that was wonderful, and I think that was much needed in today's context. I want to also talk to you about global investing, right? So I think you are the only PMS that started with the US and then had PMS within India. Currently, how are global markets set up? Specifically, I want to speak about the tech, because there's a lot of talk about AI and the tech stocks. Is there any particular view you have on the global markets as of now?
एक तो मैं आपको बोलूं, you started with equating global and US. So first lesson is that
global is, of course,
global is not US. US is not the globe. And I will also give you some context as to why we went. I mean, at first global, we went global, and so this was in the late 90s. So one was there was this Asian crisis जो आपके ज़्यादातर viewers के लिए तो इतिहास की बात हो गई, but जो भी 25-26 साल पहले there was something called an Asian crisis जिसमें all these high growth Asian economies which were actually called the Asian tigers, they had a crisis, and in 1 year those markets in dollar terms were down between 50 to 90%.
Right.
So 90, and in Citibank days I had spent some time in Indonesia. So 90% was Indonesia. मैंने कहा आज इंडोनेशिया में होते तो 90% नेटवर्थ गई थी. So that was one wake up call. The other was that I am a very learning driven person. तो मुझे था कि अब कब तक वही कंपनीज कर रहे हैं इतने सालों से, कब तक वही करते रहेंगे, वही इन्फोसिस और HDFC और महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा एंड अभी तक भी लिस्ट वही है, कोई ऐसा बदली नहीं है. तो कुछ और करते हैं. So against all advice, because people said कि if you go west, who will listen to you? मतलब you are a nobody. वहाँ मतलब दिग्गज लोग बैठे हैं तो आपकी बात कौन सुनेगा? Anyway, we went. So in 1999, we became not just the first Indian, we were the first Asian members of the London Stock Exchange. Other than the Japanese, nobody had gone west. And about a year and a half later of the NASD, which is the US Broker Dealer Association. So we've been following those markets since then. So एक तो this is a cause for me, and you're right कि not just we have global portfolios and we have global fund also, fund structure as well. But this is a cause for me कि Indians should invest overseas and they don't invest overseas. And India, after all, is only about less than 5% of the world market cap. So there's no reason why 90% or 100% of your investment should be here.
Right.
So you don't put all your eggs in one basket. And one number which I always give is that when I started working, the dollar was 12 rupees. So in the course of less than a career, it is down about 90%. So if you are planning, जो पूरा financial planning का क्या होता है कि आपके goals क्या हैं 10 years, 20 years, 30 years hence. So you can't forget that the rupee depreciates. And one of the reasons why Indians don't look at global investing is that when we were growing up, at least, there was no such option.
Right.
You could not invest overseas. Invest overseas छोड़ के आप travel में जाते थे तो you could take only $500 and that too once in 3 years. So that concept did not exist. So for us, gold was the only international asset. So our grandmothers were not wrong in buying gold because that was the only currency hedge available. But now you can invest overseas. In fact, the limits are very generous.
Right.
I mean, the liberalized remittance scheme, LRS of the RBI, you can invest 250,000 per year per person. So family of 4 can send out $1 million. That's almost 9 crore rupees you can send out. But since this is a cause, I mean, we at First Global, we have products which invest across the globe, all countries, all assets. And that start at $10,000. In a private bank, you will not get such a product for less than $1 million because it's a cause for me. So see, one thing, remember, in investing, themes change. No country, no asset class, no sector within a country will do well forever. It's like a giant wheel.
Right.
कि कुछ ऊपर जाएगा, कुछ नीचे जाएगा. So you have to jump onto whatever is going to do well.
Right.
It's only very outlier years जहाँ कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं करता. I mean, 2022 was one such year where other than oil, nothing did well. All regions were red, all other assets were red. But that's an outlier year. वो कम होता है. Or for example, America, people think कि American markets have always done well. So just a reminder कि जो Nasdaq का peak था 2000 का, tech crash के बाद वो crash किया, it was not crossed for 15 years. It was 2015 before Nasdaq came back properly to that level.
Right.
If you look at China, 2007 का जो peak था वो अब जाके cross हुआ, in spite of the fact कि बीच में economy went up 6 times.
Right.
So these things keep changing. So people think in 2021, if you remember, there were a lot of Nasdaq funds and ETFs and fund of funds that were launched in India. And not in hindsight, I was on TV at that time. I said, Nasdaq has done brilliantly for 3 years. What do you expect? Now, this is the wrong time to be getting into these funds. And next year, those were down 40%. In fact, 2022, Nasdaq was about the worst performing index in the world. Out of, I think, 42 indices, it was 40 or 41. उस समय लोग मेरे पास आए कि आप बेच दें क्या. मैंने कहा आप गलत समय पे खरीदा है, आप गलत टाइम पे बेचो मत. See, a stock down 40% can still be a sell. Stock down 80% can still be a sell. stocks can go to zero, but a major index down 40% is almost never a sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the perspective you have to keep. As far as global markets are concerned, in our global, because ours, as I said, a multi-country, multi-asset fund. So those are, since January, we've been underweight US. Of course, it's still the highest weight, but we are now underweight. We've been overweight Europe. We have been overweight China since last year itself.
Right.
So, those patterns you have to keep changing, because nothing, as I said, does well forever. That's the mantra you can't forget.
So for somebody who's 100% invested in Indian market, and if they want to diversify to global markets, how much percentage should they start with? Because of course it's a new journey for them, and you wouldn't want to put, let's say, 50%, all of a sudden in a global market. What percentage would you start with?
You should build up to at least 30-40%.
Right.
So, where you want to start is your call. But, things can move very quickly. Sometimes rupee dollar doesn't even capture it all. I was just looking at that from January to now. The rupee has depreciated against the euro by 17%.
Right.
At a time when Indians are now thinking कि अब US में पढ़ने नहीं जाएंगे, यूरोप में जाएंगे, so आपका बिल 8 महीने में 17% ऊपर हो गया है. So that's the point that you cannot forget. And now, in fact, overall, hard currency expenses have been going up over the years. More people go abroad to study, more people travel abroad. And as I said, there's no reason to have all your money here, because rupee depreciates. So over 30 years, that's a very big this thing for you.
Yeah.
So I could not have invested in dollars in the first place or any hard currency when I started my career. But if you can, so when you're saving for your retirement, or even after retirement, I would say that have it. See, if you go absolutely objectively, you should be having even more globally.
Right.
But I'm saying at least 30-40% तक तो जाइए.
Okay. And where does other assets fit into this? I think we also want to talk about the asset allocation. So
Right.
what about gold, any other assets,
So I would just tie it back to where we started on multi-baggers. And it's a difficult lesson to learn when you're starting out, because it was a difficult lesson for me also, because investment की हर book के first page पे है, this is not my discovery, कि asset allocation accounts for 85-90% of your returns.
Right.
Rather than the specific security selection. But जब मार्केट में आते हैं, शुरू में आपको लगता है कि मल्टी बैगर आइडेंटिफाई करना है, मजा उसमें है.
I'm the hero, I'll find the multi-baggers.
Yeah. So this is the thing. तो ये चीज मतलब समझने में टाइम लगा, बट दिस इज द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग, दैट एसेट एलोकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड आई ऑलवेज से कि गूगल मैप में ये भी नहीं है कि आप खाली डेस्टिनेशन डालते हो, आपको स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट डालना होता है. तो पहले तो देखिए है कहाँ एसेट एलोकेशन. आप पहले टैली करिए कि कहाँ कहाँ पैसा है, कितना गोल्ड में है, कितना इवन टैक्स सेविंग स्कीम है, पीएफ है, पीपीएफ है, वो सब चीज देखिए कहाँ कहाँ क्या क्या है. ओनली देन यू रियल एस्टेट क्या है, चाहे आपने खरीदा हो, चाहे बाप दादा का आया है, जो भी है, तो मतलब आपने कहाँ पर है वो सब आप वो देखिए और फिर डिसाइड करिए where you want to be. But you first have to know where you are, and you'd be surprised. I'm not even talking retail investors. Sometimes family offices don't have a clear idea of where they are. I mean, they will say, mostly we are in, I'm talking like a Dubai family office, saying we are mostly in international bonds. And when you actually tally it up, you find the biggest weightage is to Indian real estate, So because you've never really looked at that whole picture.
Right.
So you look at that whole picture, then make a deliberate decision. And which makes things actually very easy. So I find, एक तो तबका उन लोगों का है जो बहुत ज्यादा मार्केट में खेलते हैं, लेकिन एक वो भी है who just keep sitting on the sidelines कि समझ में आएगा तब शुरू करेंगे. Like I was doing a podcast internal for one of the large old companies, and they said like we have people who are almost at retirement age who never invested beyond their PPFs and FDs and all that.
Right.
And now they realize their corpus is a lot less than it should have been. So get the broad picture right. So I say that investing is neither as simple nor as complicated as you make it to be. हाँ, तो आपको मतलब ऑप्टिमाइज करने की कोशिश मत करिए कि मुझे जो मेरे दोस्त ने जिसमें पैसा बनाया उतना मुझे उसमें बनाना है. वो डोंट चेज दैट मिराज. So you get your broad allocation right, and sit down. I mean, don't use investing for entertainment. कि
course.
cocktail party में क्या बात करूंगा कि ये चीजों में ये करूंगी कि ये चीजों में इन्वेस्ट कर लिया और बस मतलब इसमें क्या मजा है. तो वो अगर आपको वो बात करने के लिए चाहिए या मजे के लिए चाहिए तो उसके लिए अपना 10-15% कॉर्पस रखिए. Rest of it you allocate, deliberately according to an asset allocation plan.
That was really good, Devinaji. So thank you for all that power-packed knowledge. I want to also ask you about the risk management. In particularly when we are investing in equities, there is inherent risk, right? There are lots of risk, market risk, cycle risk, individual companies risk, promoters risk. There are a lot of risks. How should one go about managing their risk when they're building their own stock portfolio? What are the things that we need to look out for?
The risk management is key. मतलब in our PMS, just to emphasize it, we always say कि 60% of what you pay us is for risk management and 40% is for return management, because the way we will, that's the sequence that
Right.
first you contain the risk and then maximize within that,
Sure.
rather than an unconstrained maximization of returns. So if you look at, for example, 2024, when these micro caps and small caps were running, so we could see that there was momentum, but that was not a risk we wanted to take.
Right.
Because see, ultimately paper profit का कोई फायदा नहीं है. You have to be able to exit. And many of those stocks, when they fall circuit to circuit, so you can't exit. So when you are looking at your own portfolio, also have a diversified portfolio, not just in terms of number of stocks, but also sectors, so that you don't, if you are holding even 25 stocks and they are in 3 sectors, they will more or less move like 3 stocks.
Right.
So even if you're not using very sophisticated methods, at least ye rakhiye. Dusra, we spoke about trailing stop loss. So always have a trailing stop loss. And the reason why risk management is so important is because investing is a loser's game. So, there's a article called The Loser's Game by Charles Ellis. So the 1970s article, it has always been part of my training manual. And if you Google, it's a 4 or 5 page article, but it is a mind-opening article that everything in the world is a winner's game or a loser's game, and if you have to identify what it is and play it accordingly. So what is a loser's game? It's a game where your objective with which you play is not to lose. तो आप छक्का मारने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहे हो. You're not trying to hit a 6. You are trying to not get out. वो आपका पर्सपेक्टिव होना चाहिए. And not get out doesn't mean that you don't book losses. Actually, you book the small losses so that you don't have a big loss on your capital. Because अगर आपका portfolio 50% घट गया तो वो दुगना होना पड़ेगा आपको 0 पे आने के लिए.
Yeah.
So many small cap managers who last year were saying कि 3 साल 50% कंपाउंडिंग दी है. मैंने कहा 5 साल पीछे जाओ, because there was a crash in 2019 in small cap. So you would see कि they were down 80-90%. Now if you're down 80% and you compound 50% for 3 years, you are still down 30-35% from the top. So those are the things. So first manage for risk. Even mutual fund data shows the same thing, that the best performing schemes are those that outperform during the downturns. You can outperform every upturn. I mean, this is actual data. ET money ka data tha ki that they were surprised at the result. I was not. That one scheme outperformed 93% of the bull markets, and yet it was the almost bottom scheme because it fell more when the markets fell. So risk management is number 1. It has to be front and center, because as I said, it's a loser's game. It is a game where all the data now is available to everyone, and the best brains are in the market. So what gives you the edge? The edge is always only in managing the risk first.
Right.
Because you can't say कि मैं तो वैसे multi-baggers निकाल लूंगी जो किसी को कभी नहीं मिले हैं. वो that may have happened 40 years ago when generally information was not available. Annual report तक नहीं मिलती थी. Excel वो नहीं थी. There was no requirement कि आपको analyst transcript भी website पे डालना है. But the other change which has happened, which is not related to the question, but since we were talking about this, that now, there is surfeit of data. We talked about systems outperforming human beings. So the reason we use artificial intelligence and machine learning is not because it is available or it is fashionable. That is because the market has changed.
Right.
No. and most funds, for instance, are still managing the way it was done in the 90s, whereas that has fundamentally changed, because that time the edge was a information edge. Now information and data is available to everyone. So what is the edge? How well can you crunch the data?
Use it and make decisions based on it.
So that is why we are using AI/ML.
Right. That is brilliant. Thank you so much, Devina ji. So much of knowledge to gain. And I think I'm going to watch this episode a couple of times myself and keep reminding myself the mistakes that I keep making personally. With that, I'm going to move to the rapid fire round.
Sure.
Few short, sharp questions that I'll throw your way.
Sure.
And I'm sure we're going to get most out of them. Who is your favorite investor or somebody that you look up to so far?
So I've read most of the investors and you learn bits from everyone. But I said my real guru is Daniel Kahneman, because he tells you the fallacies of your mind. I mean, though he has nothing to do with investing per se.
Actually, I read him as well. And I remember his talks about the military. He was in military for a number of years. And he gave some insights about how the trainings were conducted. It was fascinating. Again, I can't remember everything, but...
I mean, both his books, Thinking Fast and Slow and Noise, would be among my top 5 of all time. I mean, and I read a fair amount every year. So still like right up there.
According to you, what's the biggest secret of equity markets that people miss out on?
Yeah, we spoke about that. It's neither as simple nor as complex as it looks. So you get the broad parameters right. And actually one thing, which we haven't spoken about in equity markets is that returns can be very lumpy.
Right.
I mean, you can talk of that whatever number you want, 13%, 15% average return. But what people don't realize is that how dramatically different it can be.
Minus 20% to 50%.
Yeah, and decade to decade, not just on 1 or 2 year basis, decade to decade, it is completely different. If you'd put in 100 rupees in 1980, in 10 years, it would have been 700. If you had put it in 2010, it would have been 230 at the end of 10 years, which is the same as FD. So for a whole, and I mean, so that is the point. If you can understand कि इक्विटी मार्केट ऐसी जगह है कि आपको 10 साल का रिटर्न 2 साल में आ सकता है, फिर 5 साल कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. That's the real superpower if you can live through that.
You should be okay with that. Where do you see Nifty by 2040? Any predictions? Do you make predictions?
I never ever. In 30 years, I have never made predictions. And Daniel Kahneman says that this is in a category called, I got the term later, but I never made them even before that, was that this is a category called objective ignorance. Things which you not only don't know, but cannot know.
Right. Which market fall scared you the most, if at all it scared you? 2008 or 2020 or even prior to that, any market fall?
Probably the 2000 tech crash.
Right.
So that was that was a bloodbath in the US, and we were already in the US also and here, and so many companies just went out. They were kind of never heard from again.
Did that help you in sailing through the 2008?
And see, 2020 was a very sharp fall. I mean, there is my tweet on March 2, 2020 saying something very unprecedented is happening, and we actually went totally risk averse everywhere. So in our, for example, global fund and portfolios, we normally have 75-80% equity. We went to single digit equity. So India, global, everywhere, our products fell about 8 to 10%. Most funds were down 35-40%. But then, you equally have to turn around. So on March 23rd, we made the call again. It was a public call that now is the time to go back into market. So between March 23rd and March 30, we again got back into the market. So that was a very quick thing, because if you had not got back by then, by the end of April, the markets were up 30%. So that was very quick. But this, as I said, the Nasdaq took 15 years to come back to the 2000 high.
What's your one advice, golden advice for investors who invest in stock market?
Don't be, not just stock market, I say anywhere, don't be on extreme ends of the risk spectrum. So don't be entirely in FDs, and don't think you can become a day trader or a crypto trader or a derivative trader. So this is one of, again, the fallacies of human beings, that we don't look at the data, or we think we'll always be above average. And 93% may lose money in derivative trading, but I'll be in the 7%. So don't play that kind of fast and loose with your money.
If you were to go to dinner with any celebrity, who would that be and why?
So as you know, people who are living, probably Salman Akhtar, which has nothing to do with investing. But you know,
I'm intrigued to know why.
yeah, so I mean, he's a psychoanalyst and a shayer.
Right.
So just that combination of very structured thinking along with shero shairi. I mean,
आपको कोई share, मतलब you are into it? You like it? You
I am like, yeah, I mean, it really started from Hindi film lyrics. So that's one area which I know reasonably well from 1940s to 1970s. As I say, I grew up on the music of my father's youth, not my own youth. And that took me a little bit here. But normally I don't watch long videos, but Salman Akhtar saab ka hota hai, to I just watch it aram se. So,
any shairi that is coming for our audience right now?
नहीं, अभी तो कुछ ऐसा. Though I tweet quite a bit, I write. I restarted writing poetry after a very long gap. So sometimes I tweet my own poems also. Some in English, some in Hindustani, whatever way it comes, you know. So.
Hopefully, my last one. If time and money was not a limitation, where would you go for a holiday?
Holiday actually doesn't require a lot of time and money. I really love the national parks.
Right.
You know, there is the Indian national parks. This kind of peace you have in the jungle, it is a different thing altogether. And somehow, you know, even after getting up at dawn, actually pre-dawn, because you have to enter at dawn, every day doesn't tire you out. That's quite a magical place.
With that, I think there was so much that we discussed in this, 50 minutes, 1 hour shoot. I thoroughly enjoyed it, thoroughly learned a lot of things. So again, I want to thank you, Devina ji. Thank you for giving your precious time.
I loved it. I mean, this is somewhat different. So.
I'm glad.